Oh my goodness, who's lonely for lunch? I'm just sitting here going through some things. Figured I'd talk about what's going on with my day. While we listen to The Human Race from Danny Dreger. Yeah. Pull up a monitor. Just thought I'd pop in and see how everybody's doing today. You know, Jamie is learning how to use the Postal Service, I see. It's kind of funny. Get my monitor up so I can chat. Yeah, I figure I strip my nails, and I'm working on the birds. Yeah, the birds. Riley, did you take off with my, yeah, she bring me those. Always taking off with these. He loves these cotton pads, I don't know why. But Mildred laid an egg last night, I think. I'm 90% sure because Max is in there sitting on the nest. So that's exciting. I've been expecting it. Yeah, been expecting it. So I went and I got some heaters and they were too small. And now I have some bigger heaters because it's very cold downstairs in the basement. The furnace is set at 69 and the basement's very cold. There's no heat ducting down there and there's no thermostat to add that as a considered room to be heated. So it's very cold and I don't want to have another chick die because that defeats the whole purpose of raising these things. Getting my pigeon empire off the ground. Yeah, I'm very excited about it. Get that aviary netting out there, covering the yard, build a coop forward of the rear of the garage attached to the window so that I can have a nesting area inside of there. I have 8-foot long walkway for them coming out 3 foot wide, all caged in. That way I can have them inside and then outside rather than be outside all the time. Get them trained going in and out of the box. Yeah, that way when I do open the aviary net to fly them, they'll be trained to return to the box. Yeah, so I got a plan. Yeah, so I went and I got the heater. I got one of these. It was like 20 bucks. I tested it. It's got a little switch on the bottom so I could tape that and put it in any position I wanted, hang it or whatever. But what I'm gonna do is I got a Pepsi box and I've already re-engineered the end of it, and then I'll put the heater inside the box and that'll force the air into the nest area. Yeah, so that should work out in theory. No reason why it shouldn't. So that's for the archangels. I've got 2 weeks. I've got some time before I don't want to disturb their nest right away. I want them to sit on it for a while before I add the heater in there. She didn't like the infrared. They didn't like the infrared light. I had a light, a small dome. I have one on the archangels. They're okay with it. And then I put one in the frillback's pen. And they didn't like it. They seemed to not be happy about that. So I took it out. And after they're sitting and incubating on the eggs for a while, I'll add the heater to it. and that should be good. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but animals are sensitive. Creatures are sensitive. Yeah, disruptions. Like these two birds up here, I've got the piebald, the bald tumblers in the cages. They're not happy about it. Yeah, I can tell they're not happy. They're 10 times more afraid of me now than they were when I got them. I could put my hand by them and they would just move away. Now I get my hand near them and the one is very, very skittish, almost acting like it's wild. But they need they have to have social environment. You know, they like to socialize to feel balanced. Your face is filthy, you got food all over your face. Yeah. So I got the heat box thing plan worked out. What else? Oh yeah, I've been working on my bike. Trying to sort out, I got the manual, trying to sort out a problem I'm at with the switch. There's an ignition key, and there's a on and off button, and there's a starter button. So the button that switches on and off, the kill switch, is acting erratic. There's no action when you hit the button, but when I mess with the switch, it engages. So there's some incontinence in the switch, and I either have to take it apart and clean it and tighten it up, or replace it. You know. So the whole avoiding the expense on like your repair means to research it yourself, because when you go to the, like if I was to go to the Harley shop and be completely clueless, they end up taking control of the repair on my volunteer, I volunteer them to take control of the repair without me understanding it, and it ends up costing a lot more. Well, if I already have it digested and I know that it's down and isolated down to that kill switch, the only position I'm leaving myself in is to be forced to buy the kill switch. Yeah. Which makes me think about the water in that Colorado situation. They're talking about the Colorado River drying up. Because it's being used by people that don't know what kind of effort it takes to get water. They have no appreciation for it. Everybody's overusing the water. Yeah. Anyway, I wasn't doing nothing. I'm just killing some time, waiting for my laundry. I got this big ass blanket. It's got long shag on it that mimics a fur, it's a long fur. It's like a medieval style blanket. It's got weight in it. There's like a thick area in it, so it's a very warm, heavy blanket. I'm doing the bedding today, so I take it down and I stuff it in our wash machine. It's only 2 years old, and I had to work at it to get it in there. Yeah, it took a lot of work to get it in there. I knew when I started, before I put it in the machine, I knew by the amount of material in my arms that it was too big for the machine to wash it sufficiently for there to be any integrity to the washing effect of it. Instead of going through the motions, well, basically it just went through the motions in the wash machine because it's stuffed in the barrel. Yeah, I had to stuff it in there. I didn't have a choice because I just wanted to freshen the bed up. So now, next time I do it, I'll have to take it to the laundromat to really wash it in an industrial use only wash machine. Yeah, it's funny. It's funny how they made everything that was only for industrial use. They've been making those things commodities to people to move those products. Like that video on Facebook here with a lady. She's got a nun outfit on. As she reaches her hand, she's got 2 peaches and a banana, and sticks it in this 2-part chemical mixture that solidifies to rubber. Basically makes a phallus, you know, and the whole idea is to plant the seed out in the public that, you know, they could, you know, make a recreation of their phallus. They could, you know, stick their penis in the stuff and make a, well, it's stupid. It's the stupidest thing. Yeah. Selling stuff to add to the landfill. Just more waste end up in the trash. I feel guilty every morning having to clean up, looking at the trash going in the can and sorting the recyclables, knowing the truth about the recycling centers and how little of it gets processed. There's a place when I was going to a probation meeting once a month up in Cadillac, I would sit there with the other people waiting, and some of them had work detail, you know, that they had to do community service, and they worked at the recycling centers. I learned a lot at that courthouse talking to those people. The place that's running it, they get all the batteries, you know, it says dispose of properly, all the batteries, and that whole thing about the battery acid and the waste from the batteries. So they want us to dispose of them properly. So we dispose of them into our recycle bins, you know, confident that we're doing the right thing. But then they get to the landfill in Cadillac, and the guy just puts them all in a cat food box with a lid on it, and they just bury it in the landfill anyway. It doesn't get handled properly. And then I learned that this was one of the landfills that we sold to Canada. So Canada's shipping all their garbage to Michigan landfills. You know, a lot of corruption there. I don't know. It's interesting. Here's the thing. I have a different perspective because I've been given a different advantage, an advantageous position by getting hit by the semi and being freed from the workforce and the monotony of the routine, coming home every day exhausted and turning on the TV and all that, for instance. And the absence of that lifestyle pigeonholing me in the rat and the maze, chasing the cheese, I was able to look at the whole thing and see all the different organisms, like prisons, for instance. You know, the thing about racism. My observations about racism is that it's a human trait. Yeah, it's a human trait. I think it's a condition that can be, you know, with education and with this development of self and become one with the spirit and things like that, and aware of the consciousness, you begin to correct those societal issues that are influenced by human traits. You know, preserving the bloodline. You know, it's all about preserving the bloodline. And in a prison, all people, you know, they naturally, they gravitate. Blacks congregate. The blacks congregate. The Latinos, they congregate. The whites, they congregate. Everybody, you know, as they're being processed, everybody finds their people. You know, everybody goes to their color, you know, and then, you know, the people that aren't so stuck on just the color relationship and one of these things is not like the other, then they, you know, there's people that will gravitate towards, okay, well, what area? So, you know, all the people from Boston will get together, you know, and all these cliques develop and everybody clans up. It's natural. I've seen it happen over and over again. It's always the same. Hey, Jamie, there you are. Did you get the carrier pigeon I sent you with the stamps on it? You can barely listen, but you're here. That's okay. I know you got your hands full with them kids. Yeah, I know you got your hands full with the kids. I wasn't doing nothing. I'm just sitting here taking a breather. I got a heater box made for my pigeons to heat them up. I got this little box with a chute on it to force the heat down inside an area where they're nesting. I got a heater to put in there and doing laundry, killing time. Yeah, I know you guys got hit hard. I have some snow on the ground. I see grass poking out of the yards. We have a light covering, and there's little heaps along the street where people try to shovel, but it's not too bad here. Yeah, Mildred, I think, laid an egg this morning, yeah, because Max is sitting in the nest. Yeah, she's a part. I've been studying them. I've been watching them. They come up here together. They're always together, and they're always loving on each other, preening each other. And just yesterday, they were up here in the living room. I watched them kissing and courting each other, and they did the bird dance 3 times here. Yeah. So I'm pretty confident that Max is sitting on an egg right now. Yeah, and I just watched a show about it. I've been studying. I found this guy. He goes by the name of No Sweat, but his name's Robbie Robbins, I think, and he's a pigeoneer. He's had pigeons all his life, 50 years he's had kept pigeons, and he's been breeding them. And he's got pigeons that have blood that go back 90 years. Yeah, 90-year long bloodline of pigeons, special pigeons. He's got red ones, and he's got blue ones, and he's got white ones, and racing pigeons. Yeah, and they're very expensive. Oh no, Jamie, that's not true. The pigeons are monogamous. They mate for life. They do. Yeah, pigeons mate for life. Yeah, and they're just like people, I mean, you take any 2 male and female and put them in a breeding cage, and they'll get to know each other, and they'll become to love each other. Yeah. Or you can do it with a thing where they can't see each other, and then you take the board out after a while and let them see each other, and then you put the board back in there, and then all that wanting and the calling and the cooing and back and forth over a period of time, and it develops the yearning, and then when they see each other again, they want each other more. And people are the same way if they want it. But pigeons are the same as doves. Pigeons and doves are the same. Yeah, you can mate a dove and a pigeon together, and they can breed together. They're the same family. They're very, 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 very much the same identical birds, only the body's a little smaller. Yeah. Yeah, I'm very happy having the birds, and it when you're focusing on trying to stay on a meditative end of where your mind's at, you're able to control all the little disruptions and be happier. And I find that having the birds and being conscious of their needs causes for me to be extra conscious of moving slowly and being calm and not having any unnecessary excitement, because they're very sensitive, and I want them to be at peace and as happy as they can be, because if I do start flying them, for instance, I want them to want to return. You do the pigeon races. If you take 100 birds out, let them loose, there's a good handful of them are not going to get back. They're going to fly off. It's another reason why it's so important to breed them together and build the family, because they stay together. Yeah, put some perches back here so you can see them. Well, I will as time goes on. Yeah, I'll be doing that. I'll be putting, creating an indoor environment for them to have. So I love having them in my space. They're great. Yeah, they're very peaceful, and it's makes you feel good. It does. It's like a drug. It's nature. Nature has an effect on our brains, our chemical balance. That whole what's pleasing to the eye, like how everybody gets a warm fuzzy when they see a baby kitten. It triggers the serotonin, melatonin in your mind. Oh, so you had a cat feeder is what you had, putting a bird feeder out there? Yeah, you can't just have a bird feeder. It's got to be in a tree or something. Yeah, I just throw the food on the ground. I don't see too many neighborhood cats actually around here. I've seen a cat up and down the alley once in a while, but seems to be pretty cat free around here, which is nice. I don't care for cats. Cats that aren't being cared for, negligent, feral cats. I don't care for that. They piss all over. I don't like it. Not in my house. Yeah. Can't have more than one cat would be great. I wouldn't mind having a cat, but if I have a cat, then I have to buy litter, and I'm doing birds, so I don't want a cat. Bad enough I got Riley. I wouldn't mind. I was thinking about getting another dog. I was. But then I got the pigeons instead. For one thing, for the price of the pigeons, for the price of 8 pigeons, I could have only got one dog, and then I'd have been stuck with, trying to train another dog that, it'd be like having another child. I got the 8 birds. That's enough. I don't want another dog. I got my hands full with him. I feel guilty enough not, over the attention I spend with him. I feel bad about whether or not I'm paying enough attention to him. Because he can be, and when, I'm trying to make up for 2 people with his attention needs. Yeah, he's sleeping back here. Can you see him? Yeah, you can see him. He was listening to me play the guitar earlier. I was fiddling around. Sound like my dryer just beeped. Did you get your thing mailed? What were you going to mail? For the gas card? Yeah, you got enough trouble with the kids. Worrying about the little house damage the kids do. I wouldn't be wanting a dog. You don't have room for a dog in your life. Dog would be great, but I don't know if you seem like you couldn't do a dog. You've already got the kids. And who knows how the kids would respond if they threw a fit and the dog got upset and bit them or something. That would be terrible. Yeah, that would be terrible. Did you see the show where the Brandon was on and played he's a new crew member. He joined the fan club. He played a song, I put him on the spot, I guess. He did an improv, turned out real good. Second round of freezing rain. Yeah, so you're stuck at the house with freezing rain. Let me grab some more coffee. I'll be right back. Yeah. Yeah, I was lonely for a minute. Nobody to talk to. I had some things going through my mind. I was going to do a show today. Maybe I'll do it later, but I was going to do a thing like, you know how they got the government documents, like when they release the alien files, for instance, and everything's blacked out, redacted. Well, I was going to do a show where I was going to play a song called Redacted Blues, but I wasn't going to play a song. I was just going to pick up the guitar and mimic that I was playing some big, piece. Yeah, he does that. Keeps my seat warm. He's definitely my dog. Between the two of us, Julie and I, if we go somewhere, for instance, he's on my lap in the car. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, he needs to get a bath. I gotta give him a bath. He needs a bath. Julie and I are good. She's good. She ordered one of those massagers for getting rid of cellulite and stuff, and I saw that and I felt bad, like she's being self-conscious, so I made it a point last night to give her the treatment with the machine and give her a rub down, She's getting old and tired, Not that she's getting old. I mean, she's 56 or 57, but she's tired. She's worked a long time, And plus, the money's always spent, That's the thing, living within your income. Every time we get a better job, we readjust and live within the income and spend all the money. So we're living within the income and things are okay, but, we don't have, money to blow on, whatever you want. So you feel trapped in life not having that money because it's kind of a ticket to freedom because everything you do costs money. Yeah, that's what's so nice about investing your time and creating your space, It's like when you were a little kid and you finally got your own room, and that's the way it is. People forget about that, You finally got your own room, you got your own roof, you got your own place. That's your secret garden. You got to put those little pictures of the flowers inside of the house. And if you don't have anything pretty to see outside the windows, shut the windows. Because that little glance out there at that broken down car that's been parked there for 8 months, those little things affect you psychologically. Yeah, and they make you feel less than what you should feel. They affect your self-esteem. Never had your own room until you got your own place. Yeah, well, it's your own place. You have to make it a special place. You have to make it special. And I work very hard at trying to do that. I know what it feels like to go out to be working all day and then come home to a broken couch and a TV that don't get but 2 channels and there's nothing to no way to relax or enjoy it. All you see is more money that you don't have yet because of the lack of material things. Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing, people don't have when you develop a understanding and awareness and consciousness, you consider parking your heap of shit out in front of the house. You know, I mean, my truck's not pretty, but it looks clean. It looks good sitting in front of the house. But if I had a shitty vehicle, I wouldn't want it out on the street for, you know, that's a representation of you, you know, you walk on your reputation, you know. I'd be considerate about, especially if it leaks oil or anything like that. People are just inconsiderate, lack of intelligence. And that's the most of these people, these, I call them test tube babies, that are coming out of the cities. No. Yeah. Learned at an early age, moving from foster to foster home, shit don't matter. Yeah, well, I can't say about, I've learned about foster homes through watching documentary type of things and stuff like that. I didn't live the foster home lifestyle and have to go through that. But I can understand it. It's the same as a pet that keeps getting sent to the shelter, you know, that nobody's caring for, has needs. I really like that Mark Wahlberg movie, Instant Family. Did you see that one? Where they adopted the Latino kids from that took the two sisters and brother. Yeah. Did you get molested? Did that happen to you? That happens a lot to foster kids. Yeah, I know about molestation. You don't really get to watch movies. Well, that's kind of good because there's a lot of garbage out there. I don't think I could ever sit through another episode of Friday. It's like being in the joint. Yeah. Anyway, I wasn't doing nothing. I just thought I'd pop on. Tracy Lynn, hey, how you doing, Tracy? It's good to see ya. How you coming on your social studies, your courses? You're taking sociology courses. You good? I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I just made a heater duct for my pigeons. Blow down in the nest to keep the babies warm. The archangel should be hatching in the next day or two. And then Mildred, the white frillback with the brown tips on her wings, the curly feathers, she just laid an egg last night or this morning, I think. I'm pretty sure. I haven't seen it, but the father, her mate, is sitting on the nest. So that tells me that he's sitting on an egg, because otherwise he'd be accompanying her and they'd be up in the room right now with me doing their lovemaking thing. You know, they follow each other around. They're very much in love. They're preening each other, kissing all the time, and I've seen them make love 6 times right here yesterday, or 3 times yesterday that I witnessed. You're getting all A's, Tracy? That's very good. That's very good. I'm still kind of in awe that I became involved in you know, everything that happened. I'm still taking that in and adding to my thing. The eggs take about 18 to 20 days, 18 to 21 days to hatch. Alyssa Christine Marie, it's good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. The birds make love. It's I got it on video. I didn't watch the seconds on it, but they the little courting thing and stuff, it goes on for quite a period of time, and then when he mounts her, it lasts for, you know, it lasts up to 15-20 seconds. Yeah. Yeah, I have to show you how. Yeah, it's very cool, and to see them comfortable enough to be wandering around in my space, not staying downstairs in the pen with the other birds, but they come upstairs, and to see them doing that up here in my space. Like yesterday, they were in the kitchen, and they were pecking at a little food. I got a little plate on the floor with some vitamin powder and calcium and vitamin D and some seeds, some sunflower seeds. And they were eating at that, and they were drinking. Jamie, I videoed it. It's on, I posted it yesterday. Yeah, I posted it. But they were drinking out of the dog's food dish. The dog's got a bottle with a tray at the bottom, and the water comes out, gravity feed. And they were getting water, so they found the water. And then I saw them washing their face, and they were cleaning up. And they were trying to take a bath. So I got this big silver stainless steel dog food bowl, and I put about this much water in the, warm water in the bowl, and put that on the floor. And I got video of them both taking a bath. They were both in there and bathing. Yeah, they were in there for several minutes, flopping around and washing real good. And then they wiggled off and shook off, and they sat around in the kitchen and dried. And then they came into the living room, and they just pulled up some rug and laid down, and then were hanging out. Yeah. Yeah, they were just hanging out. Yeah, I just shared it. I think it's on, I think I posted it in our group. Let me check. Let me see real quick where I put it. If I didn't, I'll share it in the comments. Let me check my profile first. Maybe my computer's a little slow today. Did you guys see that Wednesday died from the Addams family? Yeah, I must have shared it in the group. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I shared it in the group when they were kissing and stuff, and because he kissed her, like they went through like 3 or 4 rounds of kissing sessions, and then he did it. Yeah, it's good to see him. Here it is. Yeah, it's the one that says Max and Mildred are in love. And it shows the whole thing. I'm watching it right now. Yeah, but when they kiss, they're tasting each other's crop milk that they make in their crop that they feed the babies. Yeah, so they're swapping body fluids in their kisses. Yeah, it's real naughty. Yeah. Let me catch back up. You're watching a documentary about the Romanovs? I read the book about the Romanovs, about the Russian Tsar. Is that who you're talking about? Alyssa, they're pigeons. You guys want to go see them? Yeah, the Romanovs were the Russian Tsar, and the baby was anemic, the boy, and okay, we'll go see the birds, Alyssa. Yeah, that was when Rasputin was a big friend of the wife, and he was feeding them a bunch of knowledge. He was playing with their minds, they think, and manipulating things, and oh, that's a huge story. Yes, they were all killed. The reason why they found him is because the dog was running loose somewhere, I think, was the story. But let's go see let me roll a cigarette, and we'll go see the birds. I'll show you guys, I'll give you the tour. Yeah, I'll give you the tour. Alyssa, if you haven't, go back to the show. It's on the feature. This says, I do a piece about socks. That's really good. You know how guys, You know that big thing where everybody's always talking about the social quirk about people who wear socks to bed? I'll show you Rocky too. We'll give you an animal tour. I did a piece about the socks, wearing socks to bed, but it didn't have anything to do with socks. There's like multiple messages in there. One about relationships, one about the natural gas situation. And it's actually quite brilliant. I can't believe I wrote it. So go check that out. I have lots of tips on a better orgasm. I do. I can't wear socks to bed. Shoes and socks are feet presents. All right. Let's go see the birds. Okay, this is my messy house. Okay, this is Bernie. That's Bernie Bernard. Was supposed to be a Bernice, but I've got him separated. He's very upset. And then this is William. He's very upset with me too. There's Rocky. Rocky's in the cage hanging out. I just cleaned it. Well, for one thing, Alyssa, they display a behavior of strutting around and clucking and spinning in circles when they're showing off. And they've both been attacking Mildred. They've been pushing themselves on Mildred. You know, the drunk guy at the bar that won't quit hitting on you? Yeah, that's what they've been doing. So I pulled them out and I put them in the cage. We'll go down here. I'll show you the pen. So I'm going to hang a blanket here to keep the heat in. But there's Mildred on the bottom shelf. We'll go right in there here. Here's my magic room. Okay. Hi guys. Easy. Okay, that's Mildred. She's a very good girl. That's a lavender frillback, lavender fantail. Hi, what's wrong with you, huh? Yeah, that's lavender fantail. This is my archangel. That's, I don't know if that's mom or dad, but the egg should hatch tomorrow. Yeah, the chest on the lavenders, yeah, they stick their chests out pretty big. They're very cool birds. And then Daddy is sitting in here. Daddy's in there on the nest. Yeah, that's Max. Birds got bigger chests than you. Yeah, they're cool. And there's the other one down there. I don't know. I can't tell them apart without seeing the bands on their feet. But yeah, it's very exciting raising the pigeons. Yeah, I'm excited about it. Yeah, the whole backyard's going to be an aviary. This whole backyard, I'm going to hang netting, tack it to the fence on both sides, and cover the whole yard. And then they can fly around everywhere. You know, I figured out how to do it by myself because that's the way I'm going to have to do it, by myself. If you mess with the eggs, will they kill it? No, they won't. They won't kill it. Yeah, Jamie, yeah. See, what I want to do is I want to start a bird rescue and just rescue birds. Um, because the thing is the animal shelters are all full. And if I start an avian rescue by, using some space available, take a few animals in and care for them, return them to the wild or get them homes, it'll help me network in the community. More people will become aware of my existence and that much more likely to get wind of the other things that I do, the writing, the books, and music and my skills and things like that. And it opens up opportunities. Yeah, it'll open up some opportunities. And my whole fantasy is I have an understanding if, here, it's all about the shiny thing, if I'm out walking the community and I've got my baby bird that I've trained, 6 months old, and it's on my shoulder and on a leash and flying, and I'm walking around, people will see that and they'll start to take notice. Kids will start to notice. And and monkey see, monkey do, and the shiny thing, and I want one. So people will begin to want them. And I think having the bird in the environment in a home is beneficial for multiple reasons. And it'll help draw people away from their device time and help reassemble families. It can help reassemble a family, a relationship. Yeah. When it's like when a couple has a baby, the baby helps bring the relationship together. Oh, an owl would be very cool. An owl would be awesome. If you had an owl that you could set out to feed itself, that would be perfect, because you'd be full on getting animals to feed it all the time. It would be a huge chore. You'd have to have traps out all the time. You thought pigeons were like undomesticated animals. See, Alyssa, here's the thing. I started talking about carrier pigeons like over a year ago on the show. And I made a comment about how, we should go back to carrier pigeons because it's romantic, sending messages back and forth by pigeon. And I kept getting this message. It was given to me. The pigeon was put into my conscious thoughts. It wasn't, I don't have pigeons around and see them to think about them. So anyway, the seed was planted in my thought by my spirit, I believe. And I was going to become a minister. I was going to go to school and get my bachelor's degree in biblical and theological studies. But I ran up against a bunch of negative energy that stopped me. And I turned back and I decided to go look back into the pigeons, and I found out about the carrier pigeon, the passenger pigeon. They're extinct. We killed them off here in the United States. And America's the only country that doesn't cherish the pigeons. They're a huge deal around the world. In all the other countries, they have pigeon races. They eat pigeon meat. They're very much cherished throughout history. Even when Jesus was born, they sacrificed a couple pigeons for dinner. It's a big deal. America corporate doesn't want us to remember about the pigeon because of the atrocity. They capitalized on the plentifulness of the passenger pigeons, and they were feeding that to the slave population. Yeah, for years and years and years. And because of all the trees we cut down with the lumber barons, because they put a dollar value on all the trees, they cut down all the trees and the pigeons didn't have no place to hide. And they were going out and they were harvesting these pigeons unethically. They would put big pots of poison underneath the tree and smoke them out and kill them all, and they'd fall to the ground, and then, they'd rob the babies for the nests and sell them for a high price because it was, tender squab. And so there was a huge capitalist run on these pigeons. And in 1890, they went extinct. And then by 1914, the last one died. in the zoo here, and it was named after Martha Washington. It was terrible, Alyssa. It's very terrible. But the thing is what I've been hammering away with my work since finding the letter from Nielsen's and beginning my investigation, all these things I've been looking into throughout the show going on, the practices that they used on harvesting the pigeons, they're the same type of unethical practices that are being used through audio, video communication, digital media distribution. The tactics that they're using, bombarding everybody with electronic low frequency waves, electromagnetic radiation, radio waves, the 5G microwaves, all this stuff. They're doing that, and they're affecting society. They can generate a frequency to drive away the animals, to keep the animals away. They can, they use it in war all the time. And they're using it on society, and there's nobody's stepped in to stop them yet. So we're all being molested. All these people that don't know what sex they are, for instance. That's a result of all what they've been doing through the media. Yeah, the hoarding, these hoarders and these people's 600-pound life and all that, those are all products of the advertising practices being done. Yes, they're violating us. Yeah, that's why you can't go out in public anymore, because everybody's messed up in the head. Yes, it's terrible. Yeah, I've been exposing it, and I have a very small, I'm not that smart. I didn't go to school for all this. I've been, I had to go, I had to learn from my own application to learn, to push myself to learn, like studying music. I didn't learn other people's covers because my spirit wouldn't let me learn how to play music that way. It wanted me to find my own voice, find my own style, find my own sound, and that's my spirit pushing me to develop as myself. What you can't develop as yourself when you're at the carnival with all the blinking lights and the bells and the whistles and the barkers shouting and the ditty, the little song they play and all that. America has become a great big gypsy festival. Remember how they hated the gypsies and they drive the gypsies away because they'd always come with their song and their dance and try and lure people into giving them some money for something? Yeah. Yes, capitalism's out of control. Nobody has any ethics. Industrial use only. And that's another thing with this widespread, all of a sudden marijuana is legal and all these grow places are popping up. And the fact about the bees, Einstein said 6 years time the bees die, we die off. Well, the neem oil that they use to fight the pests kills the bees. So if these people who are all out there growing pot to make a quick dollar are using all this neem oil without any consideration for nature, they're multiplying the damages going on into our environment. Yeah, nobody's thinking. Everybody's selfish, and it's hard to channel in on your own little private little secret garden, knowing the truth about the rest of the world, and that it's all for nothing but the fact of you're preserving your own sanity and maintaining your own happiness, because none of us can stop the world from spinning. Yes, they're going to kill the bees. The bees are going to die. The high fructose corn syrup that they're using in all the soda pop and that's in all the food, okay, that was invented to feed the bees with. I researched this. Bees was the last thing I was researching before I was released from prison. Yeah, I did 13 to 16 months in prison, 1 to 5 for a drunk driving charge. And I studied the whole time I was in there. Yeah, human behavior, sociology, any book I could get my hands on that was factual and autobiographical. I read about lots and lots of stuff. But studying bees. And I'd like to get an apiary and have bees. But the high fructose corn syrup, they found out that it made the bees work harder and it not only made them work harder, but it made them keep coming back because they became addicted to it. And it also caused them to die. Yeah, or it resulted in early death. Yeah, they produced a lot more honey. Yeah. And as they used it, see, 1970s when they introduced it formally to the food market, as they used it, diabetes paralleled with the increase in the use. Yeah. And nobody's ever cracked a book to even start saying a word. And anybody that has been shut up because it would disrupt the whole entire system. Well, yeah, Alyssa, you know, one of my biggest fears was to come home changed. Yeah, you know, a guy goes to the joint or joins the military, you know, sometimes they don't come back the same, you know. And I did not want to, I didn't want to go swimming in the cesspool and bring home a bunch of poop on me. So I stayed in as clean a spot in the tank as I could. And I surrounded myself with you know, all the books nobody else would read. Yeah. Yeah, I did. And I studied the human behavior in there of everybody around me. You know. You have to. You're in a tank full of, you know, when you're in a group full of, you know, enemies, you know, people that you need to keep your guard up and be aware, you know. You got to study everything and everyone. And coming up from an abusive family like I did, I was already pre-trained for it. So, you know, I wasn't one of these guys that had to take a beat down to find his place in the joint. You know. And that's the other thing about when you become, you know, a certain amount of enlightenment that you get when your consciousness develops and you start to become more emotionally intelligent and more aware of your surroundings, you become to have a very, very magical power to be able to influence anything to happen in that room with how you act and to know always what you need to do to make this happen or what you need to do to prevent this from happening, because you can see the disruption coming when you're aware. You know, when you're captain on a ship and you're paying attention, you see when the reef's coming. And that's why I keep going back to that captain, and I'm Captain Zack, because I'm trying to help people. Hey, Weasel, I'm trying to help people get a grip on their own life with that perspective that you're captain on a vessel, you know. And one of the things to always know is to know when you can take on cargo, when you can take on crew, when you can handle that added amount of responsibility, because you got to remember, you're already busy trying to keep the water building up in the hull to sink the boat. You already got the bilge pump running. So until you got the bilge pump straightened out and the holes patched up in the sails, you can't be adding friends on having friends come. You got to calculate, you know, the abilities of every single person you put on the boat. If you got a whole bunch of paraplegics on deck, next thing you know, you might as well just walk the plank, because you know. I don't know. You know. But that's the thing, and that's the other thing, the folklore. Beware of the sirens of the sea. Beware of the sirens. You know, the TV is, all it is every salesman around the world in your home. You know, the internet, we're on social media scrolling, trying to talk to our friends. And it's nothing but advertisements. Advertisements, advertisements, advertisements. Nothing but all the crap somebody else in our friends list liked. Yeah, and you never see any posts worth seeing. And you end up realizing you're wasting your time. Yeah, it's all a big waste of time. You know, that's the world. You know, and that's something that I battle with every day, keeping the world out, not wasting time, you know, checking to see if anybody liked my post, you know. I wait all the time. I'm waiting forever for people to comment, send me a comment. But, you know, it becomes you become obsessed with it. Yes, it's addictive. Internet abuse, digital device abuse, it's very real. It's very addictive. They design it. The lights that are coming out of it, okay? It's all hypnotic techniques. Yeah. And that's what Nielsen's, Nielsen's got their start claiming to be TV ratings, and all they were was the go-between, the spy, between the guy selling the product and the audience. And he would tell the guy selling the product all the details of what he needed to do to make them buy the product. How, the colors they use. It's all designed, the sounds, the frequencies, it's all designed to motivate you to buy stuff. Yeah. We've consumed 3 times the amount of food. We've wasted 1/3 of it. All because of the always pushing a celebration and the festivities and all these things going on. And we're wondering why our kids don't talk to us. We got broken families. America was nothing more than a big experiment. In the meantime, you don't see any combining of other countries. You don't see any unification between countries. Everybody sticks to their own kind. So there's gonna be hell to pay here in America. There will be fighting in the streets. There will be. Disney was involved in a lot of programming. All those cartoons, all the cartoons were all programming. Disney was working supposedly with the CIA or something. I don't know. I've heard a lot of misinformation too, though. I haven't had a chance to look into Disney's background so much, as I have been focused on trying to learn the right words, like methodological research, what to put in the dope to make people keep coming back to buy more. Yeah, it's a hidden agenda. There's lots of hidden agendas. And the problem we've got is they've divided us all so much. It'd be impossible for anybody to unify on any idea. Actually, if there was a way, right now, our country is ripe for a group of people to step in and say, okay, we're forming a new political party. You guys haven't been doing your job. This is all corruption. But, yes, it's ripe for that. But having everybody get on the same page is near impossible. For one thing, nobody will crack a book. I've been exposing this Fair Ratings Act 2005 for over a year and a half. And no one else has read it. All the corruption's exposed in the Fair Ratings Act. Yeah, that was our chance to stop them from doing what they're doing. See, Nielsen's Ratings is a private company. It's all psychologists and psychiatrists and neuroscientists, all people working on mind control techniques to make the consumers buy the products. It's all done in secret. People in our Department of Revenue, people in our Chamber of Commerce's, all these people funding, business. They're all fueling it, and everybody's bought out. Yeah, I don't watch much Disney. I've already seen enough and learned what I learned, And there's a lot to be learned. The Wizard of Oz. The Wizard of Oz was kind of a smack in our faces, because they were revealing a lot of the truth about what they're doing with cinema. The crystal ball and the Wicked Witch and all that stuff. That's a reality. Yeah, that's a reality. And the part that people need to focus on is the Wizard of Oz, the place, okay? That's the place you want to get in your mind, your consciousness, becoming one with God, for instance, type of thing, okay? There's no map to get there. They had to travel the path and incur the costs and run into the hurdles. They had to pass all the tests. They had to find their way there to get there. You don't just that's what they programmed everybody with the mindset that they can buy that. Yeah, it's not something that you can buy by getting the latest Ford. Who's one of the biggest ones behind it? Ford is one of the biggest buyers of advertisement. Extrapolate on what? What do I need to extrapolate on, Maria? I'll be right back. Explain that and I'll tell you. The Wizard of Oz. Oh, The Wizard of Oz with, you see, Nielsen's is, in effect, Nielsen's is the crystal ball. Okay? Nielsen's TV ratings, they're the crystal ball. And the Wicked Witch is the Media Ratings Council that Nielsen's is feeding all the information to about what your favorite color is and where you hide the money. You see? And over the last 60 years, 3 generations, they've curbed people down. The dumbing down effect is a product of Nielsen's work through what they fed our grandparents, my parents, our grandparents are the ones that started with the TV, were the first ones exposed. So, you notice how everybody threw away all Grandpa's antique tools? Don't do it Grandpa's way, do it the new way. We got rid of Grandma and Grandpa through the TV, and we focused on what the children wanted. Well, we focused on what the children wanted. Nielsen's has, corporate America has, and Media Ratings Council. They've been focusing on the children all this time. So now society is a child throwing a tantrum because they can't get what they want. Heard my cricket last night. You were the only one that I know that appreciate Leon like me. Glad I got to see him a few times before he passed. Yeah, I saw him a few times before he passed too, Weasel. You know, Dorothy, back to the Wizard of Oz. Dorothy, you know, she had a nice lifestyle on the farm, doing her place, getting the eggs, feeding the chickens, doing her job. And all of a sudden there was a storm, there was a disruption. The disruption that separated her from her home. And she ran into people that tried to take advantage of her. Opposition, more disruptors with she's trying to get home. And the key to getting home was to find, you see, home is happiness, love. And getting to the palace, the Wizard of Oz and the palace, is that higher consciousness, that awareness, that sense of peace in your heart, that tune into that spirit. Yeah, there's no place like home, right. Well, home is where your heart is. So when you tune in and you're grateful and selfless and aware of the needs around you, the things that you have to do, you know, you become satisfied in your being able to do those things, to have the things you need, to find that your happiness within your moment, you know, just to be happy in that moment, satisfied, I did the right thing, you know. That's the thing, you know, knowing you did the right thing. You know, I mean, you know, you dumped the oil in the yard, you know it wasn't the great place to dump the oil in the yard, but you didn't care, you know. And then later on, your wife wants to put a garden in. You put a garden in, nothing grows there because you put the oil on the ground. You knew it didn't go there to begin with, but you got sick of it being in a tub in the garage. You didn't have any containers to put it in. You know, not knowing how to handle it. That oil could have been great used as a fire starter. The red slippers. The red slippers was a key that, see, the red slippers was a gift. Oh, my hair's standing up. The red slippers was the gift given to you that you always had with you the whole time you were on that path. You see? The red slippers. And they said, well, you had the red slippers on your feet the whole time. The red slippers is your gift, you know. The gift to have that free will in your mind, to be able to separate yourself from all those people that are smoking crack in a room, to remove yourself, knowing it's wrong, and to take care of yourself inwardly. Because first of all, if you're not taking care of yourself, you know, a person's not going to want to be in a relationship with you, because how you care for yourself and how you care for your things is how you're going to care for somebody else. And having that gift already to be able to recognize good from bad, to know, you know, that's what steers you down the path to avoid calamity. You know, the red slippers is me, my journal. My journal's my red slippers, you know. I look back on it, and it reminds me what I did yesterday, what I need to do today, where I'm going, what I was thinking about, continue my thoughts, a special little sentence I wrote down that might become a beautiful poem, you know. But that's all development of myself. And reflecting on that helps me keep building, becoming more of a pearl inside of life's oyster. And I can't stress enough how valuable your diary is. Yeah, see, that's another disruption in society, was the shows, the movies they make with the stories about the boy who's always reading his sister's diary, you know, and how, you know, a guy's writer, you know, a guy writes a story or writes a poem or something, he's a fag. You know, nobody wants to be called a fag. So they secret that gift away. Yeah, writing. Even in the Bible, it says repeatedly to write. Yeah. You know, and people talk about worshiping God. Well, worshiping God boils down to just taking care of yourself, nourishing yourself, and you know, reflecting in your journal with your conscious thoughts. You can't get any closer to God than that. Yeah. Or whatever anybody wants to call it. Everybody's got a different name. But, you know, they bring up religion. You know, religion has been corrupted. Everybody's stepped in with their dictation of how to get to that plateau of consciousness, that state of enlightenment. And through the variety of dictations offered to try and teach people, man has employed his own ego and his own laws in there. So, you know, everything everybody says generally is just a bunch of lip service, you know. Yeah, well, just because you're an atheist doesn't mean you... See, that's the thing. It doesn't matter what you want to call yourself. You can still, you know, you could be an atheist and not have any belief in God at all. It doesn't have, you know, it doesn't... You don't have to have belief in God to become tuned into your own computer in your brain. You know, you're making love, okay? You think of life as you're making love. You get up in the morning, you're in a relationship, you know, the whole thing is, at the end of the day, making love. So everything you do is courting. You're courting your mate throughout the day, you know, putting the water in the ice cube trays. You know, those little things, they all add up. And that's building on that relationship, because you want to ensure the fruit off of the plant in the garden. Yeah, that making love at the end of the day. Everybody likes that. That's So, in life, you're making love to yourself by developing in your mind. You don't have to have a God given to you to believe in that. When I've had, I don't know what to call it. Okay, I use the term God loosely. It's a connection. That inner voice in your mind. Okay, it's a real thing. Okay, the consciousness. Okay. When you type so much information in the search window, the computer responds back with an answer. Okay? The consciousness, the greater consciousness is a real thing. It is. People are given secrets throughout history. Some of these mathematical equations, a guy gets a vision in his mind and he writes down this mathematical equation nobody can explain. He was given that vision, that information, because the consciousness allowed him to. He became tuned in. You have the ability to tune the dial on your radio of your body and tune in. If you want to tune into darkness, you can easily do that. You put on some guar and grab a Four Loko and sit there and tune into darkness because you're mad at the world or whatever. You can choose the channel. You don't have to. It's not about a God, but the thing is, the hugest thing is when that voice speaks. When you're given that vision, I was given some visions. Back a year ago in December, I've been documenting it all along, but I was given visions. I was shown the heat wave. I was shown an image of like a meteorological map, like the news. I was given an image of it, and I was shown these huge high numbers. And I didn't understand what I was seeing. I understood what I was looking at, but I didn't understand what it meant. And then I was given a vision of ticks. Very, very clearly in my mind, I saw a tick. And then I was given a vision of the war. All three of those things became true. Yeah, we went through the heat wave. We had a huge tick infestation. I had, the day after the vision, 12 hours after the vision, I began finding ticks. I found 10 ticks for 10 days. Yeah. And then on the 15th of December, I had a high point of the connection to the consciousness. It was giving me telepathic messages, giving me words to write. And before I started writing the words, a couple of times I was told that I was going to be taken. They're going to come and take you. They're going to take you away. And I didn't understand exactly what that meant. But after I was given the delivery of words, they did come and take me. Yeah, they did. Yeah, but I've always had a clairvoyance and knowing things about people before I knew who they were. Meeting them in the room, I would know things instantly. When I was a baby, the blankets would be taken off of my body and put back on the bed. All through different stages of my growing up, I would feel that. And there would be nobody there. Your dream place is a real place. Your whole life is like a game. You're like in a video game. You could liken it to a video game where you have to pass different tests and different levels to climb to that plateau. That thing is, they don't know anything about the mind. They know like this much about the human brain. All the things, it can do miraculous things. But if you were just allowed to have that, you're not just allowed to have that. It's there if you find it. You have to find it. Yeah, you're not going to find it with R. Kelly blaring on the speakers and the TV going and chasing down to see if anybody paid attention to your beautiful poem that meant so much to you on Facebook. You know, I've been sharing my book for 15 years, and I've rarely to never ever get a comment about it. Nobody ever says, you know, I have a few comments, but over 15 years time, virtually nothing. And the few comments I have mean a great deal to me. My book's getting 5-star reviews, and it's not selling, but I'm satisfied with that, because today's people won't read it, but tomorrow's people, it might be a big deal. Yeah. The thing is, it's not going to be a big deal if you don't do it, you know. So, like, I don't know what I'm doing in life. I have no clue I haven't seen the blueprint. I know I'm on a task. I'm not sure what the task is. So I'm following my instincts on paying attention to the things that are being presented to me that are value. And thing is without doing the things I'm doing, and without studying what I've been studying, without sharing with the people I've shared with, whatever it is that I'm supposed to be doing, it won't happen if I just, you know, resolve to be a Knicks fan and learn sports statistics. You know, my ultimate hope is that my children will take notice of it and cherish the things I leave behind, because our relationships were destructed. And I killed myself 6 times over the grief of it. In 23 days, I'll be 2 years sober. Yeah, and I don't have those tears on my pillow anymore about, you know, my kids not being part of my life, you know. Anyway, I'm going to take off, review this video, see if there's anything worth making notes about. I hope I was helpful today to anybody. Melissa, Alyssa, I hope you're having a good day. Weasel, I hope you have a great day. Try and take care of yourself, Krug. You gotta try and take care of yourself. Don't let life take you down. You got lots of things to do yet. Jamie, take care of yourself. I'm always here if you guys need to reach out, need somebody to talk to. I'm always ready for conversation with you guys. Any problems? But I gotta get back downstairs and take care of the birds. I gotta tune up my new heat box for the archangels. They're gonna hatch pigeons tomorrow, probably. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. Maybe we'll do the 420 show later. Anyway, peace, love. You know who cares. Be the change.